What's up, what's up, what's up? Just JP in the house. Okay, so I want to, me and my friends on Players Chat, we're doing a lot of talking about a lot of things. There's this article that was posted where this one brother, I guess he lives in New York, he's affluent, went to these Ivy School leagues, brought his, sent his kids to the best schools and stuff, and him and his wife got, these degrees and these good jobs and stuff, right? So he got kids, and they put him in these affluent schools and tell him how to dress and everything. And it was interesting because one of his sons walking down the street, these two guys pulled up in a car. The kid is only 15 though. And two guys put up in the car and said, "Are you the only nigger, working here?" But they said the N-I-G-G-E-R work. And so the kid was like, of course he heard what they said, right? That's what his father said. But he got a little closer to the car. Now, I'm thinking to myself, when I read that, and his father read that, why would he go closer to a car? I mean, it's common sense. You don't really go to cars when you don't know the people in it. You don't approach cars and stuff like that. But I'm just thinking, like, maybe this guy, had this certain thought in his head. But I'll say that later. So anyway, it goes on to say how the guys said a little louder, and the kid got offended. Well, I guess offended, shocked, or whatever. And so I'm thinking to myself, like, why isn't it that these parents aren't telling these children that when these ignorant people out here call them the N-word and stuff like that, that they shouldn't get all paranoid and stuff about it. Just take it as though someone is just talking crap about them, I mean, it's just like in your house, you get mad and your mom or your father hits you or, abuse you or whatever and starts saying all these nasty things about you, but at least the people in the streets, you can run from them. You can't run from your parents if they're verbally abusing you. And even if they're not intentionally doing it, which I don't think there's no such thing as not intentionally doing it, but still, you got to suffer from that stuff. So I'm thinking to myself, that his fathers and his mother should tell him, hey, you got people out there. So anyway, the title of this is something like, because of my kid, because anyway, it's something like, because he has a privileged life and he can afford to give his children a privileged life, that it would shield them from those type of events. And nothing's going to shield you from that. I'm thinking, like, what was he thinking about? Because even, all kids of all nations, they're going to go through that. I mean, here in Japan, these kids, they're ruthless to each other, and it's real bad. I mean, they're really bad. I'm telling you, you guys come out here, brothers, I'm telling you, Japan, to me, it's just like being in the hood, man. It's not that much difference, especially with the way people treat each other and stuff. When you really get down to looking at it, it's just like being in the hood. But and I'm not talking about in the hood where everybody's going around just killing everybody and on drugs and stuff like that, but it's still hood. And so I was just thinking to myself, wow, and then he goes to tell his children, when you go in the stores, you gotta act like, smile, and if you have a bag, make sure it's closed or give it to the clerk, and doing all that stuff. And I'm reading this thing and I'm saying he's teaching this kid to be a slave, to be, one of those black kids that's in their places, because they don't have to do that. If the clerk got a problem with him, or the son walks into the store, I'm like, this son, listen, if you walk in the store and the clerk looks at you funny and you feel uncomfortable, then you turn around, you back up, you don't even turn around, just back out of the store. Just get out of there. Because it's nothing really in those stores you need to buy anyway. If you want water, then you get you a thermos. If you want something to drink, then you fix you some juice and take that. You ain't why go in there and spend soda? Money for soda is definitely not going to do anything for you anyway. And things, when you talk to the police, you talk to them a certain way, and stuff like that. And of course, you do got to talk to people certain ways, because some people, they just can't even handle it, any kind of a conversation, because they just paranoid and stuff. But I was just reading that stuff and I'm like, wow, he's teaching this kid to be a slave, And but if I was the father, the first thing I would have said was, why did you even walk up to the car? You know, when them guys said that, all he had to do was just you know, keep on walking, turn around the other way or something. But approaching that car and then asking them, then engaging in a conversation with them, you know, that was dangerous. You know, you just don't do that, you know. And if they would have, them guys would have got out the car and just start messing with them, because a lot of times when people call a person a word, whether it's an N or WT or whatever these words, because everybody's calling everybody these names, you know, sometimes they just don't know the frustration, or they're just doing it as a joke or anything. Plus the fact that you're in an affluent area doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to, or you're going to these best school, it doesn't mean that you're going to avoid problems, because problems happen to anyone. And a lot of these people that start these problems are people who have problems themselves. So if you want to clean up, you know, basically I'm saying, if you want to clean the racism, you want to stop it, then you got to go to those people who are racist and let them know that they're mentally ill, and then you teach them how to use their minds and think properly, so that they don't have to do all of this stuff. You know, but you're not going to change the system and stuff until you change the people. But it was just really interesting. So we were talking about this in the group, and so I just said, you know, straight up, you know, you can't just go around and keep blaming, you know, talk about white privilege and white racists and all of that stuff, because the whole thing is, it doesn't matter. Those are grown men, and they got together, made a plan, and then they came to these other grown men and kicked their ass, and these other grown men just took an ass whooping, and that's it. You know, and what you supposed to do? You know, what are they supposed to do? And then I said in my video, that they've done everything, to help us, to provide for us, to educate us. And we're like, you white men don't teach us. We want to go to, they said, listen, separate but equal schools. That's what they said. Separate but equal schools. Okay, what does separate but equal mean? Does it mean that do you get the same teachings? Do you get the same this? Do you get the same quality? You get the same foods? You get the same buildings? You get the same tissue paper? You know, you get the same bus driver or the same cars? What is all that supposed to mean? You know, because when blacks started trying to force black studies into these universities, then, you know, that was it. And these white people are like, no, we don't want to do that, because these are our universities, and we want to teach our history from our point of view. You know, because basically most of the history that we're learning in school anyways, pretty much, I'm thinking pretty much Jewish, and most of the people that we talk about, they seem to be Jewish names, and Jewish this and Jewish that and Jewish this and Jewish that. And I'm not saying it's bad, but I'm tending to think that's what it is. You know, Isaac Newton and Eisenhower and who else? Einstein and all these people, you know, they tend to be Jewish, I'm thinking. So anyway, but you know, I'm not saying I don't hate them or anything. I don't care. People make up these religions and call themselves whatever they want. I don't care, because at the end of the day, everybody's gonna die, so it don't matter. But anyway, but until then, you know, what should have happened was those black kids that were trying to push this agenda should have realized something when they were reading, that most of these things, like the Linky or something like that, when they went to Africa, I think there was this video, I think it was Dr. Phil Valentine, maybe some other people used it, you know, said it too, but they're saying, like, you know, it's kind of funny how that Linky or Lewinsky or whatever his name is, whatever these people's name is, them two went to Africa, and they wrote a book about their perspective of Africa. Even though there are all these other million people there, they didn't ask those people to tell them about themselves. These guys just wrote with whatever they felt, and then that's what we're teaching. You know, I mean, that's what we're being taught. But the whole thing is, those brothers and them black people, and even now, you have the opportunity to travel around the world, talk to the, I mean, you can make your books your own way, because a lot of people doing it on YouTube, and they're talking about how racist Japan is and this and that, and none of these people, they come out here with these attitudes that they still have in the States, You know, instead of saying a white man's privileged, now they're saying that Japanese people are privileged, and they don't understand the gaijin privilege that they have. You know, the police, they don't really harass you because you're a gaijin. You know, if you're a guy, then you get a lot of girls talking to you because you're a gaijin. If you're a girl, then you have some Japanese guys who want to talk to you because you're a gaijin. You know, you get some good teaching schools, and you go to teaching English. You know, you're still getting paid $2,500, $3,500. You know, some people out here still getting paid, making a lot of money teaching because you're a gaijin. But, you know, and those are privileges that a lot of gaijins or foreign people just overlook because they're a gaijin. You know, because they look, you know, because all they doing is looking at things the wrong way. So in my videos, when I say come out here to Japan, experience the peace, talk to these people, talk to the men, talk to the women, try to establish business contacts with people, because a lot of people do want to do business with black people in other countries, and you talk to these people, and you just try to talk to everyone, because out here you're not going to know who is rich or who is not, or who have a business or anything by appearance, because in Japan it is just totally difficult to do that. So, and then when I tell people to come out here, or when I said when you come out here, you bring a camera, you take pictures of everything, and then you ask the party that around, ask you to give you the history of that information, and you print your own books. You print your own books, because that's nothing more than what these other people are doing. When they travel in Europe and all these other countries, all they doing is just sharing information. All they doing is just you know, just writing things, and these you know, just writing these books about something they saw, and then get a little history on it, and then come back to the States, and then say, okay, you got international, or what is it called, foreign studies. This, okay, we're going to study about this park. Okay, well, in this park, you know, I was told, they won't say I was told, but in this park, and such, this action happened, and this is what happened, and blah, 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 and then you get a test, okay, what happened in this park? You know, and you're paying all this money just to learn what happened in some else park that really is insignificant to the people who live there. When you go and you talk to these people, you know, it's like one of my videos, I was in a club, hip-hop club, and the girls were in there with kimonos on. And I think it was a female sister or something said, oh, I can't believe she's disrespecting the kimono in those clothes, and blah, 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 blah. But see, to us, a kimono is something special. But to them, it's not, it's just their clothes. It's just clothes. Kimono, it means things you wear, clothes you wear, you know, and that's it. You know, it's not special. So I'm sure they dress up with the kimonos for different things, but it's still just close to them. And these, they don't keep it up in the high standards or anything the way we do. Now, of course, they got some expensive ones because people, you know, how they make them and designing and stuff like that. But, you know, they do all kinds of things in their kimonos and their traditional wear. We call it traditional wear, but it's probably could have just been traditional, means the regular clothes that they wore in the old days, or in some period and stuff like that. So so anyway, the whole thing is talking about all of this. It's good, you know, to talk about this stuff. It really is good. But to understand and to say, you know, because to always just talk about white people and black people, just always talking about whites this and whites that and whites this. And my friend, one of my friends, he was like, you know, why you guys always talk about white people? Don't talk about them. Let's talk about us. And I was like, yeah, I mean, you know, when we talk, you know, it's all of us black people, and we all be doing, all, you know, you guys doing is talking about white people, talking about, why don't you talk about what you did to help somebody? Why don't you talk about what we can do to help each other? Why don't you talk about how we can change our neighborhood without under $50? How can we change the whole neighborhood under $50? How can we help families be able to save $300, $400, $500 a month on food? You know, how can you do that? How can we teach black women and black men who are way, way overweight to lose weight fast without going to the gym and just doing maybe 10 minutes of exercises at 10 minutes of exercise at home? Like, that's the stuff that you can write about and you can discover and all that stuff, and you sell books, and that book will not only sell to black people, but it'll sell to every person who's overweight who wants to lose weight. And I'm not saying, you know, a lot of people read into it, well, we're about the gyms. I'm not saying don't go to the gym. You go to the gym, that's fine, but going to the gym is not the best way to lose weight. You have to do other things to lose weight and stuff like that. So wow, sorry, it's so dark. And there's all kinds of other things that you need to do to lose weight. You know, you get to the gym later once you lose weight, and you're going to build your body, whatever you want to do. It just waste time, whatever, you know. But, you know, I'm saying those are the things that we can do. And it was funny because they were talking about drugs, how somebody said, well, white people, you know, bought drugs in the hood. Yeah, so what? Let them bring it in the hood. It's not their fault. You know, you can't stop people from doing anything, but you sure can stop yourself from doing it. So when they brought in neighborhoods, blacks were the ones that jumped on it, and just like whites, they jumping on it, you know. And you can't just say, and I don't know why I said that, but I brought whites in it, but you can't say it's the government's fault because black people, you know, chose to use drugs to mess their own neighborhoods. It's not the government's fault, it's their fault. You know, you are to be tested, but just because somebody puts something in front of you don't mean you're supposed to take it. So this is really interesting, the conversation that that's going on and stuff like this, you know. But on the real though, all our problems that we have, there's one more thing too. And it's funny because they're talking about the white power structure and stuff, right? And I don't know if I said on the list, but I was just talking to a friend. And so it's kind of funny how on the in the Western Hemisphere, you got the Eastern Hemisphere. When whites came to the Western Hemisphere, it was all black. And it took over for the past 500, 600 years. I said, but when they went to these other countries in the East, then these other men in the East, they fought back and got their independence back. Where they still, you know, they got public governments or whatever, it doesn't matter. Still, they fought back and they got technically their independence back. But here in the West, we didn't got anything. We haven't done anything. We haven't got anything. We're in control of nothing. And this, now I'm not saying like totally control nothing, but you know, we still don't have our own political systems and stuff like that. And one of the brothers on this side, on the thing, he was like, well, anyway, I said that, and then he said, oh, well, you make it seem like black men are B-I-T-C-H's and stuff. And I started laughing. I said, we are. Oh, we're not. I said, okay, then what can you do? You know, when you are a grown man and you walk down the street, or your kids walk down the street, and then they have a problem, and you as a grown man can't fix it. You gotta, I mean, because like they said, like in an article, he said that they went to the school, and the school kind of blew up. But what is the school gonna do to the school can't do anything to help alleviate that problem. That's not a school problem. You know, when that person when his kid was walking on the street and those people did, they have no affiliations with the school. He should have went to the police, or he should train his teachers' kids to remember these people's license plates, so then they can go and you know, take them to court later or whatever, or go handle them or whatever, you know, and go talk to them, whatever, or you know, and things like that. That's what he should have did. But he's like, the school didn't do anything. They kind of like waved it off or brushed it off, you know. But, and I don't know if he said that, but the whole thing is, you got to understand that these white kids, you know, you guys don't realize there's no white privilege. It's just, I mean, I can understand you said there's white privilege, and I understand that. What I mean by white privilege is there are a whole bunch of people who are getting heat, you know. And white privilege doesn't necessarily, I mean, some people get lucky and they get 100% off, but you still got to go through the stress, you know, and you still got to go through the duress or whatever it is. So the white privilege, how much white privilege that you get where you're not going to be scarred for your own action and stuff like that. A bad black privilege too, because black people got a lot of black privileges. I mean, it's like when I walk up to some people out here and like, hey, how you doing? They look at me and they don't say, yo, bro, what's up? they look at me like, yo, nigga, what you want? You know, oh yeah, let's talk. No, I don't want to be with you. I don't want to be your friend. This and that, this and that. I don't want to talk and blah, 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 blah. And so I'm thinking to myself like, oh man, you know, I really want, but you know, that's their prerogative. So it doesn't really matter. But what I'm saying about that article was that what was this black man thinking in the first time? You know, it didn't even say he even went to the police. You know, he didn't even go to the police. And she said his son was scarred for life or something like that. Why the word, the N-word should be something that we just brush off, just like somebody walking up calling you a knucklehead. You know, when somebody, and it has nothing to do, oh, because they want, no, them guys were ignorant when they walked up and shared their kid being a little older or had allowed to carry his arm, or probably been in Florida, you know, and used and protected himself in fear of his life, and took them guys their ignorance away from him and stuff like that. Then, you know, oh, I forgot what I was gonna say. Take their ignorance away. Oh, shit. Oh, I'm getting tired. Let's see. I forgot. Oh, and they had something like that happen. Then the whole thing probably would have been twisted up into, you know, a whole different act. But the whole thing is, you know, you black men out here, you guys need to understand that there is a such thing as you having to create your own, because you're gonna have to, you know, because like I said in one of my other videos, that is that, you know, black people are just getting too comfortable, you know. And I'm not saying all of us, but a lot of us are just getting too comfortable under the umbrella, you know. And it's really interesting, but I get tired. I was much more what to say, but I gotta go. I'm out.